This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome in, everybody, to the latest Check the Report podcast. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. Looking forward to a great conversation with one of the owners of the Detroit Waza Flo. I came across this interesting soccer league when I was browsing Twitter, and I kind of started to look around, and I'm a big soccer guy, as everybody knows, and I came across this league. I became part of it in terms of covering the league. The league has been around for quite a bit of time, and I'm fascinated to speak with one of the owners. Dominic Scicluna joins me, and he's going to share with us more information about the Detroit Waza Flo, how you can go out there, be supportive of one of the teams that plays locally here in Metro Detroit, and it's always great to support those locally. Dominic, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great. It feels great to be alive. I hope everybody woke up with tons of energy, ready to get their dreams accomplished today.
Tell those who are not familiar with the Detroit Waza Flo and the Major Arena Soccer League what it's about.
Well, we were founding members, but basically it's gone from being called the PASL, the Professional Arena Soccer League, to the MASL, the Major Arena Soccer League. And, we won the Professional Arena Soccer League back in 2012 and 2013. And we were finalists back then as well. And we were actually able to play against some of the best in the history of the game, which is the San Diego Sockers. We won the Open Cup that in the 2014 there for the Ron Newman Cup. My brother and I actually are just carrying on a long tradition from our Uncle Paul Scicluna and his partners and owners, the Tinians and the guys that opened up all the Total Sports, Total Soccer facilities. They used to own the Detroit Rockers. And so we carried on that legacy once, that went away, and we were founding members of the PASL with Kevin Milliken and this group that had a vision for having arena soccer available to people across the United States.
Now, we want everybody to go check out the Waza Flo. The website is wazaflo.soccershift.com. It's where you can go check out all the information. The next contest is this Saturday. Tell those how the structures of the games go, more about the league.
You know what? It's for those who don't know anything about arena soccer. Arena soccer is exciting. It's played on an old hockey rink with boards. It's a fast game. It's 6-on-6. There's a goalie, 2 defenders, a midfielder, and usually 2 forwards. And you have guys that are hitting hard. You have to be very, very skillful to play in this league. We've got many teams across this whole country that got guys that have been marketing this game for many, many years. So you have teams that have a strong history of different styles of how they play the indoor arena game. And there's 2-minute penalties. The ball goes out of bounds, so there's set plays and free kicks and all kinds of interesting stuff.
Yeah, so this Saturday is a Detroit Waza Flo match day. So for those that come out that want to purchase tickets, what can they experience? I know there's games with the women, there's games with the reserves. What can someone experience if they purchase a ticket to watch the Waza Flo?
You know what? We have actually players from all over the globe, players that have played collegiately, professionally, abroad. Players actually include Albania, Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Egypt, Gambia, Guatemala, Honduras, Kenya, Malta, Mexico, Romania. I mean, the list keeps going. Saudi Arabia, Serbia. We've literally got the League of Nations, and it's pretty cool to bring people from all over the world here in Detroit and get this unique mix of people that bring their different styles together. Mario and I feel lucky, along with having a staff of people that really dedicate and donate their time from our Waza FC Youth Club organization. They really put a lot of time and effort into helping make it work. And then there's all the local clubs that we open up the doors to, and they all get to play before the games. This weekend, we happen to have our women's team playing, our premier team playing, and then the main team is playing at 5:50. So I think it's at 3, and then at 4:15 is the next game, and then at 5:50 is the kickoff for the first team.
Yeah, again, you can check out the information at wazaflo.soccershift.com. DSP.com. How did you guys get involved in soccer? Did you guys play as youth? How did you grow your passion for the great sport of soccer?
You know what? I was lucky enough to be a family member with a grandmother that had 15 or 16 kids. I don't even remember the exact number. She basically had her own soccer team. They were called the Falcons. So they all immigrated from Malta and brought soccer with them into Corktown, Detroit here. And then basically my Uncle Paul's the one that took it the furthest. And he ended up creating the Michigan Wolves and Hawks Soccer Club, which is a nationally ranked academy club. And I was fortunate to grow up and play for Vardar, the first Vardar soccer team back in the day with this Morris Lupinik, and I had this rich background of people that took it very serious and treated soccer like an art and also as a business. And these are the guys that were the first people to help charge soccer and help develop facilities that allowed, my uncle and his partners allowed people to have a place to play all year, round. And then we broke off from all that. And my brothers and I were into yoga, kung fu, and breakdancing and hip hop, and so we created this Waza. Waza is just a word that actually comes from the Japanese martial arts. It's from judo. It means technique, or to once it's applied, it becomes skill. And in Swahili, I've been to Africa a bunch of times, and we help kids over there in Africa and have a couple of our Waza connected schools that we help over there. And in Swahili, it means to think clearly. So we like taking all the different techniques and strategies and methodologies from around the world and putting them all together in a body of wisdom that we just call Waza, bro.
Everybody likes to talk about the state of soccer in the United States. Many people definitely realize that the game is growing now. The foundation has been laid. A lot of youth play soccer, but many people will say, the United States soccer team didn't qualify for the World Cup. The coaching staffs in terms of the main club has been in flux and things like that. But when you really look at it at the grassroots level and arena leagues and the Major League Soccer, and you realize, that American soccer has this boom going on. And I do think that everyone's doing a great job in terms of promoting the great game.
Yeah, well, there's a gap that just needs to be connected, which is the creativity and the culture and the creating of a unique style that one can call its own. Nowadays, the modern game is extremely tactical and technical and physical, and you now have to learn how to manage your emotions and everything else, how to manage your social media accounts and everything else in order to make it to the top. So to be a complete human being, a holistic scientific human that is actually on top of their training and developing, the United States needs to develop individual players that can solve problems, not just be creative individual skill players, because there's all kinds of people that have great technique that don't play the game. And then you have people that understand the game perfectly and are great athletes and can run all day long, but don't solve the problems that are needed at the highest level. So games like Pana, which is putting the ball through somebody's legs, samba, rhythm, dance, bringing in different, yoga and different aspects that can help expand and broaden the view of soccer so that the athletes are becoming problem solvers and they're thinking on their own, and then they're just applying some of the methodologies from us coaches that we know can provide the environment for them to flourish.
Enjoying the conversation with Dominic Scicluna, one of the owners of the Detroit Waza Flo. Now it states that you're an owner, coach, and player. I always enjoy discussing those that are in management positions, those working with people, those coaching with people. Take us through one typical day behind the scenes of what you do there with the Waza Flo.
We manage people's ability to work together. Like when you got all these different countries of people that all come together, we have to manage the players' emotions when they're out there and things aren't going exactly the way they want them to. We make sure we always incorporate a little bit of yoga into what we're doing. At the same time, we have to make sure that there's tickets being sold. We're always looking for positions and people that would like to be in this industry. So we're always on the phones talking to people that either would like to invest or sponsors and different people that have an interest in getting their word out through the following that we've created over time. And obviously, creating an environment that's fun and exciting and joyful for people to be around is, what this soccer industry has done. This is not something my family is new to. And there's teams in this area, the Michigan Bucks and the Stars and Oakland FC, all these different teams that are here. You have Canton, you got Plymouth and the Jags and all these clubs that exist that are doing the right things to help promote the sport. Now we just need people to actually hear about what's going on, and all these local clubs need to work together to help promote soccer so people watch it. These young kids need to watch more soccer in the flesh and meet players in person and get inspired to put the extra work in. And it's funny because, when I was growing up, some of the players I played with all ended up being the players that helped put USA on the map, like Brian Mazonoff and Alexi Lawless and all these Kerry Zavagnin, all these guys that are from Michigan that played for the United States national team, that played with ourselves on these local leagues. They've helped put us on the map, and now we have people like us that are giving back coaching to the kids now. And so now it's just going to take a little bit of all this put together with some capital. People that have money out there that hear podcasts like this, they need to invest in the industry in whatever they feel comfortable.
Now, you guys play out of the Detroit City Fieldhouse. That's correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Yep.
And where's that located, and what's that facility like for those that have never been out there?
It's off of Lafayette there. I think the Red Wings used to actually practice hockey there a long time ago. And the Detroit City Fieldhouse is obviously the group Detroit City. They're doing all the right things for soccer in the city and have made some moves, and they've got a great following of people. And their organization has a facility that's a class act. It's safe. There's beer and wine. There's a bar upstairs. There's a great viewing area. We'll have some entertainment, and it's a perfect family environment, and it's something to do on a cold winter day, that's for sure.
Now, I want to ask you this because interesting discussion. A lot of people have weighed in on it. Many people are looking at potentially the idea of a Major League Soccer team coming here to Detroit. And some fans, some very overzealous fans of the Detroit City FC have come out and are very vocal and are against the notion of a Major League Soccer team. And some of the things that you read are potentially that, there's not enough of a relationship between Major League Soccer and the grassroots level. What would your take be on if a Major League Soccer team were to come here to Detroit? Would that be a great thing for the Detroit Waza Flo, or would that be something that maybe you guys would be adverse to and would find very challenging?
Anybody that does their research and really truly cares about soccer would never be adverse to the proper capital and people doing stuff the most professional way possible. As a matter of fact, the whole idea, a pyramid only exists because its foundation is strong. And in every country in the whole world, there's a whole bunch of minor teams that feed the major team. And if Detroit City or anybody else, I'm talking about the fans, not the official administration, anybody that loves soccer, of course you're going to have the diehard fans that support their club only, but anyone that likes soccer will support soccer people that play beautiful soccer. And if the MLS comes into town, that all that does is open up doors for everybody, and it brings more game, more professionalism, and it brings a place for those supporters to go play or hate all they want. They can go to the games and play or hate because at least there's soccer happening, and it's a soccer team that might even be able to beat all the local teams that are here now. Maybe the local teams here are good enough to compete with the MLS team. Well, how good for marketing is that both teams are that good in Michigan, that there's that much beautiful soccer in Michigan, that two huge teams exist. I mean, I challenge everyone to do a better job than the next person so that it raises the bar for all of us. Why would I be mad at the people that bring in more money and opportunity for the kids of the future to make money coming out of Michigan? Because the local team, eventually they're going to want a few players from the local area. And there's probably rules that you have to have a certain amount, right? They've already have that in place in the MLS. Now the fans, the fact that they're already sticking to their team, that, being that dedicated, I like that. That's what is going to create. There's going to be another supporter group that probably grows out of that. I don't even have a supporter group at Waza Flo, and I've kept my team going with a lot of help from a lot of people. And I think if people came out, regardless of the teams that they already support, it's like a new song that comes out. If someone goes and it's just got good rhythm and it's got a good flow and it makes you want to move, then I think who cares who made the song, and who cares who owns it.
Very good. I agree wholeheartedly. Anything that's good for the sport of soccer to draw attention, dollars, marketing can only help those, and it can help trickle down, especially if there can be developed relationships and a working partnership. It can only bring great news and highlight the great city of Detroit, and definitely with the strong ethnic background and the passion for soccer, it can definitely be a great thing. I'm enjoying my conversation with Dominic Scicluna. He's one of the owners of the Detroit Waza Flo. Also, you are a player and a coach. What are some of the challenges of coaching as well as being a player on the team, on the squad?
Because they've made a rule that you can't coach anymore, so now I'm not coaching. So okay. I've stepped away from that, but I do help guide things, and then the staff now asks me for guidance. And when you're a captain type, I mean, all the players become coaches and students depending on the situation anyways. And when you have a bunch of really smart people mixed with new people, you have to listen and honor some of the people that are guiding the whole team, because in our environment for many years, we've had players that have played at the highest level and have played professionally in other countries. So even though our coaching staff has always been, there's always been a head coach, there's been an open line of communication, and then we come with a game plan and we take everyone's talents and we accentuate them. We look to cover everybody's weaknesses. And the beauty of this organization is, me having done a little bit of everything, is I get sat, I got to pull myself out the lineup, and I have other coaches and family and staff that all look at the situation. And I'm told that my defense is strong enough that I don't get sat very often, and I'm still able to help set up a goal or two from game to game. So I haven't retired yet.
Great stuff. Now, for those that are going to come out this Saturday, another contest. It's Detroit Waza Flo Match Day this Saturday, Detroit City Fieldhouse. You can get tickets at wazaflo.soccershift.com. Highlight one of the players that fans should definitely pay attention to, somebody that has a spark or a personality, or somebody that we can hone in on when you guys go out there this Saturday versus the Rochester Lancers.
Well, the guys are still battling for positions this week in practice, so it's a little bit early because there could be changes with these guys battling hard in practice. We get anywhere from 15 to 40 people that come to training. Nice. trying to get into the lineup, and it's open to any other ballers out here in the surrounding Metro Detroit area that would like to come and give, show their skill. As a matter of fact, our next practice is this Friday at the Detroit City Fieldhouse at 12:30, and around noontime there. And basically, this weekend, I'm going to tell you what, you have all kinds of players. You have Aaron Bird, you got my brother Tino, Mario, you got Deku. Anyone that's from the local community would know all these guys because they coach all the local soccer. I have players young guys that are explosive on the ball. I have guys. Here's the thing: usually our lineup consists of about 8 to 9 different countries. Okay, every single lineup. So, and each guy has a skill. Like, certain guys are good at posting up, and certain guys are good at defending and smashing into people and winning that ball back. And certain guys are as quick and explosive. So I don't even want to give you any one player to look for, because it's something that you got to see. As a matter of fact, last week we had a bunch of different people. We even had a player that played for the 1998 World Cup team, Marcelo Gonzalez. He played with Ronaldo and Dunga, Tafarel, Bebeto, and all those guys when they lost to Zinedine Zidane in France. He was in our lineup last week.
Oh, amazing. So definitely get out there, Detroit City Fieldhouse, support the Major Arena Soccer League. Enjoyed the conversation, Dominic. Any final thoughts you want to share with those that are listening that may be new to arena soccer?
Man, arena soccer is so underrated. I was a wrestler. I did kung fu. I break dance. I've done a little bit of everything. Have traveled around the world and seen soccer all over the globe. I played futsal, my brother and I, the Waza Flo with some of the Brazilians and different people from around the country. And my guys that play with me in the Las Vegas Legends, we all won the national championship in futsal just 2 years ago here. And what I can tell you is that after playing foot volley for the United States and all these different aspects of soccer, and the arena soccer game is one of the most challenging forms of soccer I've ever played because of the ball hardly ever going out of bounds, and the boards and there's big, strong guys in this league, and it makes it like a hockey style soccer, but I don't even want to call it that. It's just something that you got to come check it out. It's awesome.
Thanks so much for your time. I've enjoyed the conversation. This has been the Check the Report podcast. Definitely go out and support the Detroit Waza Flo, and you can follow them. You can follow them through us on Twitter at Detroit Podcast. Thank you so much, Dominic.
Yeah, man, I appreciate everybody out there. You can follow me on Instagram too at Dominic Waza Scicluna, or just type in Dominic Waza, and I post, some of the different changes and events, and I show after, behind the scenes stuff as well. All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll check in again. Thanks, everybody, for downloading this latest edition of Check the Report.
Thank you. Peace, everybody.